Right now at 5, Joplin City officials discussed the issue of transient transportation into the city during last night's council meeting.
Now we have a sunny, warm day, but it's going to be on the windier side. Your full forecast coming up.
Plus, authorities respond to a shooting in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm meteorologist Donald O'Keefe. Good morning.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, officially. We made it through Monday, which I feel like is always the hardest day of the week in my opinion, especially, when there's time changes, but we appreciated the time change. Oh
yeah, definitely got some good extra rest this past weekend. That extra hour really definitely helped us out.
Yes, but now we're here for Tuesday. We're getting into this week. I feel like it's going to be a great week because we have some great weather going on.
We do. It's actually going to be pretty nice, sunny, but it's going to be a little bit on the windier side today, but that sun is still going to be out there. Let's actually take a look at downtown Pittsburgh right now. This morning, pretty clear skies, a little bit on the warmer side as you're waking up, but it's feeling pretty good, I would probably say. You can take a look out there, like I said, clear skies. I would probably say it's going to be a pretty nice day, despite it being a little bit on the windier side, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Taking a look at 7th and Range Line, like I said, you can actually see, look at that. That's the moon out there. It looks pretty good. A little bit of haze, a little bit of clouds, but it's going to be mostly clear this morning as you're waking up. Same thing goes for Range Line and I-44. Very clear. Nobody out on the roads just yet, but it's going to get pretty busy in the next couple hours. So make sure you're driving and being safe because there is a little bit of fog out there, mostly in Miami right there, 6.2 miles of visibility, and down there in Veneta. So that's really just our patchy area of fog at this moment. That might increase, decrease, but it'll probably lift as we progress through the morning. But pretty good all around, good visibility as you're driving into work. So I would probably enjoy that and just be a little bit safe if any patchy fog does appear while you're out driving. So let's take a look into the future here. So today at noon, we're just going to have winds from the south bringing in that warmer air. It's going to, like I said, be a little bit on the windier side, maybe just a little bit of clouds, but it can be mostly sunny, and that trend will continue through the afternoon. About 4 o'clock, still a little bit of clouds, winds from the south bringing in some nice warmer air, and then we're going to get a little bit cloudy as we progress through the evening. As you can see, a weak front is going to push in this evening, but looking at those current temperatures right now, mostly mid-50s across most of the area. Iowa is about 50 degrees. You're on the cooler side. Planning your day for the school bus. Out the door, 53 degrees, still windy. We're going to get up to about 70 at lunch and recess, and then 71 as you're heading home. Windy, but sunny all day long. So like I was saying, sunny all day until we get to about 6 o'clock. And then that wind is still going to be pushing through the area, 15, 20 miles an hour, but goes up to 30. But I'll have your full and complete forecast coming up.
Donald, thanks. A 24-year-old man suffers a gunshot wound in Joplin during the early morning hours Monday. The call came in about 4:10, reporting a man suffering a gunshot to the abdomen on Bronwell Avenue. Authorities took the 24-year-old man to an area hospital. Joplin police say they have no suspect or suspect information at this time. Head over to KOAMnewsnow.com for more information as it becomes available. Police in Britain have charged a man with 10 counts of attempted murder after a knife attack on a train. The 32-year-old suspect appeared in court, accused of carrying out a stabbing spree over the weekend on a train bound for London. Passengers ran in panic to escape. Some thought it was a Halloween prank when the stabbing started, but quickly realized it was all too real. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Just search for it in the KOAM News app. Joplin City Council votes to ban the practice of dumping homeless people within city limits. The new ordinance makes it illegal to intentionally drop off transient individuals within city limits. Council members passed the measure on the second and third reading last night after documenting multiple cases of other communities bringing homeless people to Joplin. City officials say the practice strains local shelters and resources, and alleged violations would be reviewed by the police chief and city prosecutor before deciding how to proceed. The new law takes effect in 20 days. The Joplin City Council also gave a green light for an ordinance creating the Woodsonia Marketplace Community Improvement District. Their decision followed a public hearing last night where developer Drew Snyder presented the latest renderings for the Prospect Village development near 20th Street and Rangeline Road. The mixed-use project features a publicly owned sports complex, retail spaces, and housing opportunities. The CID goes to the second reading on November 17th. If passed, the tax collection for the project would start in April 2026. Christmas assistance signups began yesterday at the Wesley House in Pittsburgh with hours from 9 to 3 all week. Already 150 households have signed up with an expected total of 450 by Friday's deadline. Wesley House also distributed pantry and food, handed out 196 coat vouchers worth $50 each, welcoming many first-time assistance seekers.
Things are just really tight for people right now. Everything's really tight, and if you live on a fixed income or a low income, you've got some really difficult decisions to make on what do you want to spend your money on over this next few weeks.
Meanwhile, the Salvation Army is also conducting Christmas signups this week. Both programs serve residents in Crawford County. Drivers in Crawford County should be aware of some upcoming road work. KDOT plans to close 690th Avenue in Walnut in order to replace the bridge. Crews say the closure will take place from the middle of November through early spring. The construction is part of a $42.3 million funding project that will cover this and 34 other bridge projects. Good food can provide a good meal, but can also be a form of therapy. Mike Glover introduces us to a barbecue restaurant in Oklahoma that began as a need to feed the body and the mind.
Hi guys, welcome to Oklahoma Smoke Barbecue.
It's a business that was birthed out of crisis.
I was active duty military, I had PTSD and was in a very dark spot.
His therapy, smoking meat.
We started doing it to help people. We'd sell our ribs and then take the money and help teachers, help local vets.
Maybe it was the product, or maybe it was his purpose, but the demand pushed Ian to go all out and open a restaurant, expanding his heart to help people.
So I got a clothesline, put it on the wall, and I start out every morning, put about 5 to 10 meals on it.
The meals are for anyone struggling that simply need to eat. And it didn't take long for customers to notice the line and start purchasing meals to help others as well.
I started doing this about a week ago.
And in that week, the restaurant has given away about 300 meals.
God, he blesses people in the world.
The program, a godsend for Ben Winters and his family.
My grandpa, he just started chemo today again.
And even with the program happening throughout the day, Ian says it's important to recognize when to step outside of that and do more.
And they came in and needed food. They said they hadn't eaten all day. And there's a lot of little kids, and we put together a massive platter of food, piled it high, and just stuck it on the table.
Ian isn't so much concerned about being taken advantage of. He says that comes with the cost of helping people.
Like I said, charity's charity. You either help people or you don't help people.
Check with your favorite restaurants in the area. Many offer the same program to those community members in need. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Trump administration uses a contingency fund for SNAP benefits after federal judges rule. Plus, Anthony Hopkins releases his memoir at age 87, reflecting on addiction and fame. And cool and sunny conditions. Donald has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, the Trump administration said yesterday afternoon that SNAP benefits will be partially funded after two judges ruled on Friday that the food assistance payments must continue despite the government shutdown. We'll look at how some 4-staters are dealing with the changing status of SNAP in a moment. But first, Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill, where the Senate has reconvened but has no vote scheduled to end the budget impasse.
The Trump administration said Monday it will use a contingency fund to partially pay out SNAP benefits this month after rulings from two federal judges.
It cost over $9 billion to fund SNAP for a month, and we only have, I think it's $5.2 billion in the contingency fund. So you have a big shortfall.
The ongoing government shutdown caused a funding lapse, affecting more than 40 million Americans who rely on the food assistance program, including cancer patient Michelle Lockhart.
It's not just myself, it's others in the community, others like me, people that are no longer able to work. And without the SNAP benefits, we're unable to put food on the table.
The deadlock is also causing major disruptions at airports across the country.
What can you do about it? We're just in a spot where we have to wait.
Here on Capitol Hill, the Senate reconvened Monday, but there are few signs of progress to end the stalemate as Democrats continue to hold out for extensions to Affordable Care Act subsidies.
I'm not going to do it by being extorted by the Democrats who have lost their way.
In a 60 Minutes interview with Norah O'Donnell, President Trump made it clear he won't negotiate with Democrats until after the government reopens.
Your plan is to tell the Democrats to vote to end the shutdown.
Correct. Very simple.
And that you will put forward a health care plan?
No, we will work on fixing the bad health care that we have. Right now, we have terrible health care at too expensive for the people.
The shutdown is expected to become the longest ever Tuesday night. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Back to the SNAP food assistance, the Trump administration said eligible households will receive 50% of their benefits this month, but the USDA warned there may be some delays dispersing the money. But up first, Obamacare premiums rise for 2026 as open enrollment begins. What you need to check next. Plus, cool and sunny conditions. Donald has a look at your Tuesday forecast. Anthony Hopkins is reflecting on the role of a lifetime, his own, as a famous drummer taps into the joy of giving back. Gwen Wildgarden has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Actor Anthony Hopkins is entering a new chapter.
That's me as the kid, and that's me as the big kid. You did okay, kid. That's my memoir.
The Academy Award winner turned author is releasing his memoir at the age of 87. In it, he reflects on his difficult childhood, battles with addiction, and rise to fame. We Did Okay, Kid is available today. Performances are underway for this iconic British bear. Paddington the Musical just opened in London's West End, with 2 performers taking on the role of Paddington Bear. One wears the physical suit on stage while the other sings. The musical is based on the 2014 movie. It's no secret that the Red Hot Chili Peppers' love for California runs deep, but now drummer Chad Smith is bringing some love and support to Michigan. During a performance with the University of Michigan Marching Band, Smith announced the creation of a need-based music scholarship at the school.
It's just an opportunity to give back to what I've been so lucky to have, and you know, for next generations of musicians to be able to pursue what they love.
Smith grew up in Michigan. The scholarship will be named in honor of his parents. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
One awesome way to make an impact. And now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
Cool and clear conditions this morning will lead to a warm and sunny but windy day. Look at your full forecast coming up. Well, good morning on this cool but clear morning out. Let's take a look at downtown Pittsburgh. Pretty clear out there, as you can see. Not a lot of clouds, really just maybe just a little bit of haze. It's on the cooler side, but still feeling pretty good out there, in my opinion. So same thing for 7th and Rangeline. Maybe just, like I said, a little bit of haze. You can actually see the moon over here. Look at that. Like I said, a little bit of clouds, but pretty much mostly clear as you're waking up. Feeling pretty good out there. Rangeline and I-44, not too busy at this moment, but it's going to get a little busy in the next couple hours with people starting to get out in the morning, doing their morning routine, getting the kids on the bus, doing all their morning, errands and things like that. So today is actually going to look pretty good. However, if you are out starting to drive, there is a little bit of patchy fog out there. in Miami, 7.1 miles of visibility. So not too bad, but still, it's a little bit of an improvement from earlier. I think it was like about 6.8, so a little bit better and along I-44. But for the most part, the area looks pretty good for fog. Not really anything to worry about as you're driving out on the roads this morning. All right, let's take a look at why we're actually going to see some windier conditions today, but also on the warmer side. So Tuesday at noon, that's today, we're seeing just a little bit of clouds, but you notice some stronger winds are coming up from the south. So that's what's bringing in some of the warmer air, but it also might feel just a tad bit chilly because of those stronger gusts of winds. And that's actually going to continue through the day to about 4 o'clock. Still a little bit of clouds there, as you can see, but those winds are still going to be out of the south, bringing in that nice warm air. Mostly clear conditions. But then when we get to about Wednesday night into the morning, as you can see, clouds were passing by, and actually a dry front is going to push through. It's going to be very weak. It's not going to bring any rain, but it will. That's why we're actually getting some of these stronger gusts of winds. But by Wednesday morning, as you're waking up at 5 a.m., still southerly winds. The winds are going to calm down by that time, and it's going to be a pretty clear, sunny day. We are going to have a wind shift by the afternoon. It's actually coming from, instead of coming from the south, it's going to be coming from the northeast now. That's just going to maybe just bring in just a little bit of cool air, but it's still going to be pretty nice. But then we get to about Thursday morning, the clouds are going to start increases. The wind shifts again from the north to the east. That's what's bringing in some of these clouds, but it's still going to be a pretty nice day. And then by about Thursday afternoon, still partly cloudy. Some clouds are still going to be lingering in there, but it's still going to be a pretty nice day for the next couple of days. All right, so starting your day, 8 a.m., mostly sunny but windy, 55 degrees. We're going to warm up to about 68 by 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Still mostly sunny. Just like I said, few patchy clouds out there, but still, the wind is mainly the main factor today. So we're going to get up to about 70 degrees today. Windy, like I said, south winds 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusts up to 30. But by about the 2 to 3 o'clock hour, still sunny. We're going to get up to about 72, maybe 73 degrees. So a pretty nice day, in my opinion, despite the wind. And the same thing will continue through into the afternoon and evening, getting down to about 50 degrees overnight. Clouds will start to increase, and then by about 6 p.m., 63 degrees, 10 p.m., get about 60 degrees. So pretty nice day and evening, even though it's going to be on the windier side. All right, taking a look at our 10-day forecast. Like I was saying, look at this. Very beautiful all week long. That front is going to start pushing out into Wednesday morning. Very beautiful. It's going to start cooling down this weekend as another front's going to push in. We're going to get back to those lower 50s. So I would probably say it's going to be a pretty nice week, and then dropping back into fall-like temperatures later next week. All right, that is a look at your full forecast. Here is Sam with Health Watch.
Thanks, Donald. We do have some breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. He served as the 46th Vice President with George W. Bush. We'll have more on that story today at noon. But in Health Watch, even a modest amount of physical activity can delay Alzheimer's disease for years. That's according to a new Mass General Brigham study that showed people who walked 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day saw cognitive decline delayed for 3 years on average. For people who walked 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day, delayed cognitive decline for 7 years. Researchers recommend increasing your daily activity because every step counts. Performing CPR immediately when a child's heart stops can make the difference between life and death. A University of Missouri-Kansas City study found that when a child goes into cardiac arrest, their odds of survival increase by more than 90% when CPR is initiated within the first 3 minutes. The findings highlight the urgent need for people to learn CPR and feel confident performing it right away. A warning for people who take melatonin for sleep. New research presented at an American Heart Association meeting showed long-term use of melatonin supplements is associated with a higher risk of heart failure and death. People taking melatonin for at least a year had more than tripled the risk of heart failure, casting doubt on the long-term safety of the popular supplements. November begins a new round of open enrollment for those looking for coverage under the Affordable Care Act. This year's coverage might run into some complications as Congress cut tax credits earlier this year to the ACA, causing many health care premiums to increase. Some notable changes are some health insurance companies are no longer providing coverage to certain counties. Your primary care physician may no longer be in network.
There may still be some that has a zero premium, but you may see an incredibly high deductible. If a person has had marketplace in the past. We recommend that to not just let it re-enroll.
Some healthcare providers offer after services that do not require insurance. One of them is KCU Dental in Joplin. More on this later. More cases and deaths have been linked to a listeria outbreak in prepared pasta meals sold at major retailers. CBS's Gwen Baumgarten has details.
A warning from the nation's top health agencies. Check your refrigerator and freezer for a number of different pasta meals. They may be contaminated with listeria. Products include Trader Joe's Cajun-style blackened chicken breast fettuccine alfredo, Sprouts Farmers Market's smoked mozzarella pasta salad, and Scott & John's shrimp scampi with linguine bowls. The FDA's website has full details. All have been recalled from stores, including Walmart, Safeway, and Kroger's, though most had Best By dates that have already passed.
These are pre-cooked meals. They're just warmed up. And therefore, that warming up is not sufficient to kill all of the listeria.
The problematic pasta comes from California-based Nate's Fine Foods, which recalled more than 200,000 pounds of it in September. Symptoms of listeria usually start 1 to 4 weeks after eating contaminated food, but can start as early as the same day or as late as 10 weeks. They include fever, muscle aches, diarrhea, stiff neck, and even seizures. So far, 6 people have died and 27 people have gotten sick in 18 states since the outbreak began last August. Infectious disease expert Dr. William Schaffner says listeria can be effectively treated if diagnosed early.
But some people have gotten more seriously ill because the bacteria has gotten out of the intestine and into the bloodstream.
Listeria is especially harmful to pregnant women and seniors. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The CDC is still investigating whether additional foods may be contaminated. Every year, more than 1,000 people are infected with listeria and about 170 die. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, a local charity prepares emergency food distribution.
And cool conditions will turn sunny, but it'll be on the windier side today. A full look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, how the Area Agency on Aging is working to feed seniors while the government shutdown blocks federal dollars.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:32. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm meteorologist Donald O'Keefe. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. It's weird to think that we are already kind of well into November because I feel like October just happened and October went so fast. So I'm like, we're just a few weeks away from Thanksgiving, and then after that is Christmas, and everything's just hitting so quickly.
Yeah, October blew right by. Halloween just seemed to go so quickly, and now we're getting right into the holiday season. I'm really looking forward to this.
And some people are already, starting with the Christmas decorations. I'm not that kind of family. Ours is always, right after Thanksgiving is when you start with Christmas. But, I'm seeing it everywhere, and it's going to be here before we know it. But it doesn't really feel like it's November right now.
No, it doesn't. Actually, we're starting off November on the warmer side. Let's actually take a look at downtown Pittsburgh at this moment. It's actually, like I said, it's on a little bit of a cooler side, but not too bad out there at the moment. It's clear. Maybe it's a little bit of clouds, but things are going to start changing as the day progresses. Taking a look at 7th and Range Line. Now, like I said, not too bad out there. Looks like the moon is actually starting to set, so that's actually pretty nice to see with just a little bit of clouds. So pretty nice morning as you're waking up. Same thing for Range Line and I-44. Getting a little bit busier. It actually start to get a busier over the next couple of hours where people are starting to get out, do their morning routine, getting their coffee and kids on the bus. But if you're out driving at this moment, there is a little bit of fog down there in Miami. It's not too bad at this moment, but just pay attention because it could increase, it could decrease for visibility. But for the most part, our area looks really good for fog. So if you're out driving to work or if the kids are out on the bus, it looks good. It has pretty good driving conditions except for that little patch of fog. All right, so let's take a look at our future track here. So we have southerly winds that are going to be coming up and bringing nice warm air in. This is today at noon. There's few patchy clouds, nothing really going on in terms of clouds and rain. Then by about 4 o'clock, still southerly winds, still some patchy clouds. but mostly sunny and mostly clear. And then a dry front is going to start pushing in later this evening. You can see right here that's actually going to just be bringing temperatures down just a tad bit. But right now our temperatures aren't too bad. 56 there in Joplin, 51 in Yates Center, 50 down in Jay. So pretty much low 50s and mid 50s across most of the area. And then getting your day started for the bus, 53 as you're getting out the door, 70 at lunchtime and recess, 71 as you're heading home, but still on the windier side, but mostly sunny pretty much the entire day, like I was saying there. Get up to about 70, 71 degrees. But I have a complete look at your forecast coming up.
Thanks, Donald. Carthage Crosslines Ministry is working to help those who are impacted by the current reduction in SNAP benefits. In addition to having food available for their regular clients, a separate emergency supply is also ready for anyone else who relies on SNAP benefits. The ministry is prepared to assist until the benefits are fully restored. It's not just seniors impacted by the government shutdown. According to the executive director of Children's Haven, the shutdown has increased stress and placed greater needs on some families in the Joplin area. With over 12% of families in Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas relying on food assistance, the shutdown threatens to add to the challenges faced by these families during the holiday season. Children's Haven says they need community support now more than ever.
When stress is high in families, that is when unintentional and accidental things can happen. We're here to keep kids safe, to prevent child abuse and neglect, and be a safe resource for kids to spend the night when stress is high in the family. And the current climate is certainly causing more stress for families in our area.
Anyone interested in supporting Children's Haven or seeking resources for families during this challenging time can visit their website or contact their office directly for more information. As the government shutdown continues into November, federal aid programs impacting the 4 states feel the strain. While a court decision will allow partial SNAP payments this month, many local organizations that depend on federal dollars are still in limbo. KLAM's Blake Goley shows us how the shutdown is hitting seniors right here in the 4 states.
Do I buy my medicine or do I buy my food?
That's the decision many seniors are facing as the government shutdown stretches into November. The Area Agency on Aging relies on federal funding to support programs that keep seniors fed and connected.
We had intended to furlough 23 kitchen staff and stop serving hot lunch at our senior centers. We received some beautiful, wonderful, generous donations from some folks to keep that going. And we've been working with the cities of Webb City, Neosho, and Joplin.
Jennifer tells me she's working with officials in Joplin and other cities to provide temporary funding until federal funds start flowing again. And for seniors in the Joplin Senior Center, they just want Washington to understand this shutdown hits home.
They ought to think about us, the people that come over here and need this, because there's so many people that really need this, and the ones that still, like our officials that are still getting their checks and getting all their money and all that, they need to donate it. A lot of people here need help, and we need the government to wake up and do what they got to do.
I feel like the government's let us down because, you know, we pay our taxes, and we paid our tax all our life, and then they just up and shut down on us because they can't agree on stuff.
The agency says funding has only increased about 4% in the last decade, while operating costs have nearly doubled. Once the government reopens, it could take up to 8 weeks before the agency receives the funds it needs. Reporting in Joplin, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
Local organizations like the Area Agency on Aging say they're still relying on donations and community support until full funding returns. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, Kimberly Clark buys Tylenol maker Kenvue in a $49 million deal. Plus, breakthrough technology uses AI to battle the global waste crisis, one recyclable at a time. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, scientists are using smart new technology to help save polar bears in Canada, where melting sea ice has wiped out 50% of the population. A silent, all-electric tundra buggy helps researchers get closer to the bears to study them and can even broadcast live to the world military-grade radar called BEARDAR, which can detect polar bears as they get closer to towns, keeping both people and the animals safe. Restaurant chain Denny's says it has been acquired by a group of investment firms in a deal worth around $620 million. The company's CEO says it contacted more than 40 potential buyers and received multiple offers. The deal is expected to be completed in early 2026, and afterwards, Denny's will no longer be publicly listed on the NASDAQ. According to the chain, there are more than 1,500 Denny restaurants around the world country, most of them franchised or licensed. That news came as Kimberly-Clark announced it's buying Tylenol maker Kenvue in a deal worth nearly $49 billion. The merger combines two companies with a massive consumer health portfolio, which includes brands like Huggies, Band-Aid, Kleenex, and Aveeno. The deal comes weeks after the Trump administration made public claims that use of the active ingredients in Tylenol, acetaminophen, during pregnancy may be associated with increased autism, though medical experts contend that Tylenol usage is safe. The deal is waiting for approval from both companies' shareholders and is expected to close later next year. And Thanksgiving is coming early to Subway. On November 13th, the restaurant chain is releasing its festive feast collection featuring ham, turkey, and chicken sandwiches filled with Subway's all-new cranberry sauce and savory turkey stuffing. Sorting recyclables at home is a tough enough, but recycling plants handle thousands of tons daily. New artificial intelligence makes the process more efficient, but as Bradley Blackburn reports, your home habits still matter.
At this recycling plant in Berlin, Connecticut, multi-million-dollar machines move in every direction, sorting everything you can imagine.
It moves fast, very quickly. We process up to 50 to 60 tons an hour.
But blink and you might miss game-changing technology. Intelligent eyes closely watching it all.
That box is a supercomputer. It is, yeah.
The red boxes are from a company called Gray Parrot. Entrepreneur Ambarish Mitra believes artificial intelligence combined with high-speed cameras can help solve a massive global waste problem.
Large-scale AI should be used to actually increase efficiency to a level where almost nothing would be a waste. We want to build a world where we see every object as a resource and it can be recovered and it could be back into society.
The AI boxes can identify recyclables based on shape, labeling, and other criteria and warn if something sneaks through. The plant still needs plenty of human workers too, but AI helps maintain the purity of the sorted product, which ultimately helps recycling make money.
If it should notice that something's not right, it'll send us an alert, and we can go and see what's going on to make a change in the system. Even with technology, it's still an immense and expensive job to sort all this material. And what you do at home matters.
Tips include never putting items like lithium-ion batteries in recycling. They can cause fires here. It also helps to clean and sort your recyclables.
You need to follow the recipe or the instructions that's given by your local recycling coordinator. They'll tell you what should go in and what shouldn't.
Every little bit helps because it clearly adds up. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Berlin, Connecticut.
The Berlin facility was the first in the country to use Gray Parrot technology. That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
Well, you're waking up to a cool, crisp morning on the clear side. However, we will start to warm up to sunny skies, lows in the 70s, but we also going to be on the windy side as well. I'll have a complete look at your beautiful week forecast coming up.
The Trump administration says help is on the way to millions of Americans who count on the SNAP program. The latest in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm a short report today's Ag Day Minute. Despite the government shutdown, President Trump's administration says it will partially fund SNAP this month. It comes after a pair of judges' rulings required it to keep the food aid program running. USDA had planned to stop payments to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program starting this past Saturday because it said it could no longer keep funding it due to the shutdown. It costs about $8 billion per month nationally. The program serves about 1 in 8 Americans. The world's leading authority on the hunger crisis says famine has spread to 2 regions of Sudan. The Integrated Food Security Phase Classification says famine is also threatening 20 other areas in Darfur. Now that's where fighting has intensified in recent months. The Rapid Support Forces besieged the area, cutting off much of the food and other supplies to tens of thousands of people. And love butter and mayo? Why not combine the two? Tillamook creating a first-of-a-kind spread made specifically to create what it calls perfectly crusted grilled cheese sandwiches, calling it Butter Maize. It says it's a combination of unsalted butter and organic mayo along with zesty spices. It will be available Thursday while supplies last and will be sold online only at shop.tillamook.com. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or get updates at agweb.com.
Now let's take it over to Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
Good morning. You're waking up to a cool, clear morning and taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh. You can see not really much going on in terms of any cloudiness or anything, maybe just a little bit of haze out there. But like I said, it is on the cooler side. Taking a look at the 7th and range line, not too bad. You know, actually, there might be a little bit of clouds out there, but there also, if you're looking up at the sky, you actually could see some stars. You know, I forgot to mention earlier that on my way to the station this morning, I actually saw a meteorite fall from the sky. It was a big surprise. I loved it. Clear skies. It was amazing to see. So maybe you might see some of those if you're driving in on range line 944, you know, getting a little bit busy. So we're starting to see the sunrise out there too, maybe just a few patchy clouds, but looking at pretty good conditions at this moment. But there is a little bit of a fog patch right now in Miami going down 44 to Veneta. So just a little bit going on with the fog right there. But for the most part, we're looking pretty good all across the area for fog. So when you're driving into work or the kids are out on the school bus, nothing really to worry about except for maybe that little bit of patchy fog there in Miami. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up here. So today, Tuesday at noon, we're seeing south winds that are going to be bringing in that warmer air. It is going to be on the windier side though. Just a few patchy clouds, and that's going to continue through the day. South winds, we'll still see some patchy clouds as well by Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And by the afternoon into the evening time, a weak cold front, a weak dry front is going to come through and just drop temperatures down just a little bit. That's actually why it's been just a little bit windy, and it's going to be a little bit windy through the day. But by Wednesday morning at 5 a.m., still southerly winds, but the winds will start to die down. And then that trend will continue through Wednesday as well. Clear conditions, but by the afternoon, you see a wind shift. Instead of from the south now, it's coming from the north. So we're going to see maybe just a little bit of cooler conditions, but still on the drier side and also still a little bit on the warmer side as well. Then Thursday morning at 5 a.m., a little bit more clouds, partly cloudy for when you're waking up. Winds coming out of the east. Then by the afternoon, it'll still be dry and clear. Still some patchy clouds there by about 4 o'clock. Winds will start coming out of the south again. But starting your day today, 8 a.m., mostly sunny, going to be pretty windy, 55 degrees at 8 a.m. We'll warm up to about 68 degrees at 11 a.m. Like I said, sunny skies, but it's still going to be on the windier side. So if you're planning your afternoon, we'll get up to about 72 degrees by about the 2 to 3 o'clock hour, but we'll have those south winds, 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusts up to about 30. So if you're planning on starting any fires this evening, just make sure you keep them contained and safe. There is a slight elevated fire risk because of these winds, but nothing really to worry about when it comes to the fire risk. But just be smart if you are planning on lighting any fires this evening and into the overnight. Like I said, we're going to see about 50 degrees. The winds are still going to be there about out of the southwest, 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts up to about 25. But we're going to get down to about 60 at 10 p.m. And like I said, overnight, clouds are going to start increasing, 50 degrees for an overnight low. All right, let's take a look at our 10-day forecast. It's going to be pretty beautiful, as you can see, all through the week. Low 70s. We could see 76 degrees on Thursday. That's going to be amazing. All sunny skies. And then a front is going to start to push in on Saturday, bringing those temperatures down to the low 50s again. It's going to start really feeling like fall by the early part of next week. We still might see an isolated shower, a very small chance on Saturday, but the biggest thing is that we'll get back to those fall-like conditions earlier next week. All right, that is a look at your full forecast. More news and weather coming up after the break.
Students at Pitt State celebrated Day of the Dead with games and culture last night. The Spanish club teamed up with Spirit State to host the event in the Grubbs Hall basement, featuring rounds of loteria and a themed scavenger hunt. Organizers say the goal was to honor the Mexican tradition while bringing students together to learn and have fun.
And taking a look at your day, starting your day at 8 a.m., we're going to see mostly sunny skies, 55 degrees. It's going to start getting pretty windy as you progress through the morning. By about 11 a.m., mostly sunny, but the wind's going to be there. High, we're going to get up to about 68 degrees at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then once we get to the afternoon, we're going to see mostly 76 degrees there for our high, and then we're going to get out. It's like I said, it's mostly sunny, still going to be windy. Those gusts are going to be out of the south, about 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusting up to about 30 miles an hour. So on the windier side with that. And then your evening, we're going to drop down to about 50 degrees for the low, still going to be on the windier side. We're going to see winds out of southwest 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts about 25, and then increasing clouds through the evening, dropping down to, like I said, about 50 degrees overnight. Taking a look at your 7 to 10 day here. Like I said, today is going to be on the windier side, high of about 72. A beautiful week, getting up to about 76 possibly on Thursday. That's going to be really nice, sunny skies. We're going to see a front coming in this weekend that's going to drop the temperatures down to those fall-like conditions again with a possible frost and freeze. But let's enjoy that really nice weather while it's here before that fall-like temperatures are back by the early part of next week.
Students at Pitt State celebrated Day of the Dead with games and culture last night. The Spanish club teamed up with Spirit State to host the event in the Grubbs Hall basement, featuring rounds of loteria and a themed scavenger hunt. Organizers say the goal was to honor the Mexican tradition while bringing students together to learn and have fun.
And taking a look at your day, starting your day at 8 a.m., we're going to see mostly sunny skies, 55 degrees. It's going to start getting pretty windy as you progress through the morning. By about 11 a.m., mostly sunny, but the wind's going to be there. High, we're going to get up to about 68 degrees at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then once we get to the afternoon, we're going to see mostly 76 degrees there for our high, and then we're going to get out. It's like I said, it's mostly sunny, still going to be windy. Those gusts are going to be out of the south, about 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusting up to about 30 miles an hour. So on the windier side with that. And then your evening, we're going to drop down to about 50 degrees for the low, still going to be on the windier side. We're going to see winds out of southwest 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts about 25, and then increasing clouds through the evening, dropping down to, like I said, about 50 degrees overnight. Taking a look at your 7 to 10 day here. Like I said, today is going to be on the windier side, high of about 72. A beautiful week, getting up to about 76 possibly on Thursday. That's going to be really nice, sunny skies. We're going to see a front coming in this weekend that's going to drop the temperatures down to those fall-like conditions again with a possible frost and freeze. But let's enjoy that really nice weather while it's here before that fall-like temperatures are back by the early part of next week.